Hello lovelies! Yes, I got my haircut. I really like it. It was kind of, not really like a super last minute thing, but I thought about it for like a week and a half or something and decided I wanted to go ahead and go short again. Shorter than I have in a long time, but I really like it. It is a lot less work and it's just a lot nicer. It's really nice having short hair. And it's funny because now my husband has much longer hair than I do. But yeah, we're all about breaking those gender stereotypes. So, I haven't made a video for a couple weeks. I've had a lot of random stuff happening. There's so many things I want to talk about, but I'm going to try to keep this video like fairly short and do different videos on these different topics. But yeah, so the biggest thing is that I just got confirmation that I will be having open heart surgery to repair, or not repair, but to replace my heart valve. So, for those of you who don't know, because I haven't talked about it a whole lot on this channel, but I have a heart condition that was present at birth. It was a bicuspid heart valve. And over the years, that part hasn't changed. Now I have aortic stenosis, and so for a little while that was like staying about the same. I was like mild to moderate for many years, and then it got a little more like solidly into the moderate, and then now it is in the severe category, which is when they do surgery. So I am waiting for a phone call to establish care with a surgeon. And I will be finding out when that all is going to happen sometime. And I'm assuming it's going to be this year. So yeah, that has been a lot. It's been a lot to like wrap my brain around. It's like I knew at some point I was going to need to have some sort of surgery. But yeah, just coming to that realization that it's going to be so soon has been very challenging. So yeah. I want to do videos on that. I would really like to kind of vlog through my experience with all of that because there really isn't a lot of female voices in that area, because typically this is something that men deal with, and you know, the percentage of females who are born with this and then end up with aortic stenosis is a lot lower, but they are out there. So yeah, I've only seen like, I think one video so far about a woman who went through this surgery, because I was just trying to find some just videos and things to like educate myself and like on what to expect for like afterwards, because the healing process is quite a while. It's about like 6 to 8 weeks. And of course everyone is different, but that's typically the time it takes for the I think it's sternum area to like heal. That way you can kind of go back to like normal, but a lot of people, it can take up to like 6 months to like really feel like yourself again. Sometimes even longer. So it's going to be a lot for sure. So for a little while, I probably won't be making too many videos, or just mostly talking about that. So bear with me. Things are kind of changing on my channel anyway. I have decided that I want to start doing a little bit more talking type videos, a little less, like I'm still gonna probably do art videos because I'm gonna keep doing art and I really enjoy it. But I would like to do just talking about different topics and things that I'm going through and experiencing and like all of those things, some sort of commentary type stuff. That's kind of the direction the channel's gonna take. A little bit more, I don't know, very selective, but also talking about my life a little bit. So, yeah. So in that vein of things, what I would like to talk about today is digital minimalism. I have been hyper-focusing on a couple different topics, and I think it's my brain's way of trying to get me to relax about my heart surgery. So my brain has like been picking at things and like, hey, this is something that you're interested in. Let's just like dive down this rabbit hole. So I've been trying to like figure out a couple different things. Digital minimalism is something that I have been intrigued by for a few years now. I forget when exactly I started hearing about it, but I know for a long time I have felt the pull to like get offline and like be more present, and the nostalgia that I remember in like the early days of the internet and social media and stuff. That's something that has been on my mind a lot over the years. I remember back in like 2000, when was it? Maybe 2011 or something was, I think, the first time I really like took a social media break. And at the time, like it wasn't as beneficial as I feel like it could have been, because I didn't have, I was very isolated. I lived very far away from most people, and I just didn't have that many friends that I like texted with or anything. So a lot of my friends were just online, and, you know, we would like message each other on Facebook or whatever. So once I like got off internet for a little while, it was like I didn't have anybody. It's kind of how it felt like. So, you know, I had my family obviously, but like I just felt really lonely. So it didn't really like give me the freedom that I feel like I would have had if I had had a really well established like friend group that I was going and being with a lot. So that was the first time that I really kind of experimented with that. I was born in 92, so like I know I'm old. Oh. Cuteness aggression, sorry. She loves it though. This is Jane Bond. Yep. With her tuxedo. The cat was way too distracting. So yeah, I was born in 92. I'm 33 years old. So I remember the early days of the internet and like social media. I think I remember actually when like Facebook it was more exclusive, and then it like switched and we were like, ooh, this is cool. And so we made accounts. But see, I remember getting online, checking my email. I would email with a couple friends, these girls that I knew, and it was like pen pals, but through email. And so we would talk that way. And then I remember I must have been using my mom's email because I was pretty young, but I can't remember. So anyway, so I remember doing that. And then I remember kind of going on forums and things like that. And then when we had Facebook, you'd get on Facebook, check everything, and it was chronological. You could scroll back and see like what people had said in the morning, you know, and then I'd get offline, you know, do my chores, do my school, like do whatever, and then at the end of the night I could come back and check everything. I could scroll back to where I had left off and just catch up with what everybody had said during the day, and it was literally like 30 minutes, maybe less than that, like in the morning and then at night. Yeah, so I remember that, and I get nostalgic for that all the time because it just felt so much more simpler, and it also felt like you were actually connecting with people a little more and just kind of keeping up on what was going on in their lives. And, you know, I had like 10 friends. It wasn't like it is now where you just have like every person you've ever met on your friends list. Maybe not everybody's like that, but I think the vast majority of us are kind of like that, where we just kind of add people, add coworkers, add people in whatever groups that we're involved in, and we don't really know each other, but we like kind of get to know each other a little bit online, but that's pretty much it. You need a lot more social interaction in person, and I feel like one of the dangers of social media is that we start to feel like we're getting social interaction when we're really not getting as much social interaction as we think we are. So I'm not saying that it's all like terrible. I think there's pockets of it that's really good, but there's been so many studies showing how detrimental this is to our health. And over the years, I've really like kind of started to distance myself from social media because I've known the dangers of it too, because there's this other aspect where everyone you've ever met, even if you're not friends anymore, they can like check and they can see what you're posting. So I have experienced some online harassment for a little while, and definitely like cyber stalking and stuff like that. People saying stuff about what I have posted, just talking about my own experiences and things like that. So I definitely was like, okay, I need to back off and like not share pictures of my kids because it doesn't feel safe. I didn't want to share as much personal details because it just didn't feel safe because people were just like talking about me and everything. And the internet can be a really scary place as much as it can be a really awesome tool. And I've been caught in between these two worlds where it's like, I really just want to reject all of it and just not have it. But this other part of me that really likes technology and finds it really fascinating. So the concept of digital minimalism has really, I guess, hooked me because it's not a complete rejection of technology. So if you haven't heard of it, I wrote down some notes, on like an actual notepad. I use these all the time. So you can get these from Walmart for just like, I don't remember how much, like maybe $5 or something. There's all sorts of different kinds. You can get super fancy ones. You don't have to get super fancy ones. You can get super simple ones. This is just, it's a pen and gear, just one subject notebook, right? I just threw away like 3 of these because I always get pretty much the same one. It's always a different shade of blue, and I fill them up. So each, like, they don't have to be a specific like topic or anything. For me, it's just a way for me to write down stuff. So I have like, grocery lists, and I when I do my budget or whatever, I'll just like do math on these, or I just have random thoughts, or if I get a phone call and I need to write some notes, I just flip to a new page and write down the notes. So yeah, it's just, these are super handy, guys. I would love to do a video on all the different notebooks I have because, oh my gosh, I have so many notebooks. I love the tactile feel of like writing stuff down. So anyway, I'm getting off topic. So the definition of digital minimalism, if you didn't know, is it's a philosophy that helps you question what digital communication tools and behaviors surrounding these tools add the most value to your life. So it's about intentionality and taking back control, really. So I feel like over the years, the last few years especially, I have been really like chasing simplicity. I've been wanting peace in my life. I'm a person who, again, I don't know if I have like ADHD or if I'm on the spectrum or something, but my thoughts are loud, okay? And it's very easy for me to just like get overstimulated, and a lot of extra input is not helpful. So when I have like music playing and I'm reading an article and my kids are watching something and they're arguing and like all of those things, and then somebody asks me a question, I'm just like, I can't think, So I have to rework my life around the chaos that already exists, which is my kids. And I have to make sure that I don't have all these other things that I can control. I want to shut those things off in order to like spend more time with them and all of that. So and not get so frustrated so easily, because all of that like adds up and it makes me a lot less patient. I generally am a very patient person. I've been told that a lot. And it's pretty easy for me to just like ignore a lot of like random little things, but there's a point where it's too much and I'm just like frazzled, So anyway, so we have been focusing a lot more lately on like less screen time and just trying to figure out ways to simplify our lives, make everything more peaceful, and just figure out how to be intentional with our time, really. One of the ways that we are doing this is after our kids go to bed, my husband and I typically will watch a show. Right now we're watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and those episodes aren't super long, but instead of watching like 3 episodes or whatever, we have been reading our Bibles for about like 20 minutes or something, and like talking and everything, and then watching maybe 1 or maybe 2 episodes, and then going to bed. So we're trying to like make sure we're being more intentional with certain things, because otherwise we'll end up watching like 3 episodes, get in bed, we both want to read, but we also both want to talk to each other, and then we're up an extra like hour or an hour and a half or something. So we're figuring out a better balance for all of those things. So so that ends up working out much better. So it's like, it's just choosing what you spend your time on. What I'm going to do to get more of this digital minimalism feel, I can't take total credit for this actually, because I have watched a lot of videos. I stumbled on one, I forget, I think it was just randomly on my YouTube channel, and I'll link it down below because it's a really well made video. I loved it. It's done so well, and it's such a great, I don't know, I really liked it. This guy, oh my gosh, I cannot remember his name. Eddie something. And I'm so sorry. So sorry. But I hadn't seen any of his videos before. But he decided to go no phone. So he didn't even just switch to a dumb phone. He wanted to experience life without a phone. And it was really great. It was a really great video. He got a landline phone, and it looked like a fun experiment. But my husband and I, because I watched it and then I was like, Shane needs to see this because he would love this. So yeah, we watched that together and he loved it. He was just like, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of him. Like, I want to do that. I want to not have this stupid thing in my pocket anymore. My husband has been doing this a little bit longer than I have. He hasn't really logged into Facebook or Instagram for very long, for a couple years. So he was getting on Facebook occasionally just to like look at Marketplace, and that was pretty much it. So but he was spending a lot of time on Curiosity Stream. So he was doing that a lot and just like watching videos, listening to them while he was at work. And so he stopped that about a couple months ago, I think. And maybe I'll do a video with him talking about like his experience and his side of this. But yeah, so he had stopped doing that, deleted everything for like watching stuff off of his phone, and has been using his phone so much less. But he was telling me that, you know, he feels like he can retain information better. He's having a easier time remembering like the episode we watched at night or something. Like, he's thinking about it more. He's not just like consuming content and not really like contemplating it. So that was something that was really interesting. So yeah, that's something that he really enjoys, and the more we do this, the more he wants to just get away from like all of it. So that's that is part of this whole thing, is like me seeing how much peace he has over things with less technology in his life. And so that is something that I have been inspired by, I guess, a little bit. But, and then also this video and everything, and the book we're going through and our Bible study, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like all of this stuff is pointing to simplicity. And it's something that I have wanted for a while. So it feels like it's not a coincidence, because I feel like all of these things are kind of converging to where this is like the perfect time, really, is what it feels like. So what I plan to do is I am going to kind of dumb down my smartphone, which I have attempted before, but I feel like not as ruthlessly as I plan to do it this time. I would show you guys, but I'm actually filming this on my phone. So that's one reason why I don't want to completely get rid of it yet. But the biggest reason is that I don't have all the things I would need to kind of replace it. So I'm trying to use what I have now in order to do this. So my first step really is going to be, I guess my first step really was backing off of social media, honestly, because the only things that I'm on now are YouTube, obviously, and Goodreads for tracking my reading and keeping track of like my books and everything. And I do still have Pinterest. I get on there occasionally, but it's like private and I don't have like any friends on there. It's a newer account. And then what was it? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like, I don't really have any other social medias that I'm like logging into and like being on. I'm still like active on a couple, as far as like my profile is still open on a couple, but I am not active on there. So yeah, this is like the only thing you're gonna really find me on. But yeah, so backing off social media, I guess, was my step 1. Step 2 is dumbing down my smartphone. So I'm going to be right back. So step 2 is going to be dumbing down my smartphone. Here's my other cat, Patches. So I will be dumbing down my smartphone. I am going to be taking off my email app. I'm going to be taking off YouTube. I'm going to be pretty much taking off everything that's like not super necessary. So since I still am filming some videos and doing like editing on there, I'm going to have, obviously my camera app is going to be there. My video editing app, I use Power Director, so that'll be on there still. YouTube, the YouTube like Creator Studio or whatever it's called now is going to be on my phone still, but I won't have the actual like YouTube app because I believe I can upload through the other app. So I won't need to have that on there. I'm going to keep Goodreads and Duolingo on there for now. What else? Yeah, so it's basically just very, very basic, you know? And I'm also going to be changing it to grayscale so that there's not like a ton of like colors and stuff that keep me on my phone. I also figured out a hack where I have like the accessibility button, I think is what it's called, enabled, where if I hit it, I can switch it to color. So when I'm taking photos or looking at photos, I can turn the color back on and then turn it back off. Because that just makes life a little easier for me. But yeah, so for now, that's kind of going to be my setup. I'm going to obviously still be able to call and text and use GPS. Those are the things that I am most, I guess GPS is kind of the thing I'm most worried about because I rely on it very heavily. I do remember, though, using MapQuest. I'm old enough to remember printing out directions for MapQuest. Mostly my dad would print, either he would print it out or have me print it out, and then I would be like the navigator, so I would like tell him the directions. So yeah, that is something that I will be doing. And then my next step after that, step 3, is going to be getting a dumb phone, I guess. I don't know exactly which phone yet. I'm leaning towards I think it's LG Classic Flip or something like that. The biggest things I need, obviously, is just to be able to call people or have people call me, because like when I go to the gym and the kids are in the childcare, sometimes they need to call me and let me know that one of them, like, you know, isn't feeling good, or, you know, won't put his socks back on. I think that happened one time, or like they need a diaper change or something like that. I only have one in diapers, thankfully, now. He's not going to be in diapers much longer, but still. So anyway, I do need to be able to get phone calls. So, and obviously just for safety, it would be nice to be able to easily call if something is wrong. But yeah. So I'm going to be needing a phone that is reliable enough to like do phone calls, but I would also like something that can handle group texts, because sometimes my mother-in-law will send a group text to a bunch of us, and then I have a friend who organizes like a get-together and stuff, and like I don't want to miss out on those kinds of text messages just because I have a dumb phone. Obviously, I'll still have Messenger. I'll be able to access that on my computer. Yeah, so honestly, it is a lot to kind of like try to replace a smartphone. I'm just looking into like all the different options. Like one of the biggest things too is like my smartwatch. I have a Garmin watch, and I like to track my daily step count and then my activities that I do, like swimming or running or anything like that. So that's something that I'm having a hard time figuring out exactly how to replace that. I don't really want to get rid of that, being able to do that, but I'm pretty sure I can still somehow sync it to the Garmin like website, you know, with my desktop. So I'm trying to figure that out. So I'll work on that. But the other thing obviously is I still want to be able to listen to music while I'm working out. and I still want to be able to listen to audiobooks and podcasts, so I'm figuring out things like that. So I believe I have found a pretty good replacement for those. I'm going to get an MP3 player. I cannot remember the brand name because it's a bunch of different letters and stuff. But yeah, I found one that should work good for audiobooks, podcasts, and music. So then I just have to find a place where I can purchase like the albums that I would like to have, and then just take them from my computer onto the MP3 device. So anyway, for now, I'm going to stick with Spotify. I had just recently switched from Pandora to Spotify, so I was getting used to it anyway. But I'm going to just go ahead and like download music onto it, and then my audiobooks that I'm listening to, download those through Audible, that I'm already using Audible right now. I'm not purchasing anything new really from Amazon, if I can help it. So I'm kind of starting to try to move away from Amazon a little bit. I know I'm still like publishing on Amazon, so yeah, I don't know. But I would like to not really kind of use Amazon products if I can. But I still have audiobooks that I have not finished listening to, or they're just in my library. So I'm like trying to work my way through the ones that I already have before I like purchase anything new. But yeah, so I'm working on all that. I had already started trying to think about replacing my Kindle with a different sort of e-reader, because I have been really enjoying having an e-reader. It's something I didn't think that I would like, because I have always liked the tactile feel of books, and I still do, but with my life and the way everything works, I feel like a Kindle is way more, or an e-reader, is way more conducive to everything. It's a lot easier to carry just a Kindle versus like 3 different books that I want to read. And so that's really nice, but I still really like books, so I won't be like getting rid of my books. So anyway, yeah. Ugh. So the next step is going to be obviously getting a dumb phone, and then my smartphone is literally only going to be used for listening to music, audiobooks. I'm going to turn off like the Wi-Fi. It won't have its SIM card anymore. So I won't be able to do phone calls or text messages on my phone. It'll just be like basically an iPod, you know, is kind of how I'm going to use it. I will probably still use it to take photos and videos for a little while. I do have an old like Sony camcorder, and I've thought about using that to film videos. It's a little less convenient, which this is the whole point of smartphones, is to have everything be very convenient. So I will at some point switch to using an actual video camera. I was wanting to do that anyway for my YouTube videos. But for now, I'll just stick to what I have. Yeah, so it is a lot. It's a lot to think about, but you know, and like at first I'm just like, oh, well, I have to get this and I have to get that. And I'm like, okay, start with what you have, because you don't need to just go out and like buy a bunch of replacement stuff, you know? I need to try this out and make sure that I can actually do it. But I'm not worried about it, because I know that I can. I have slowly like done these different things to like maintain healthier habits. I'm not falling asleep with my phone by the bed anymore. It's plugged in the kitchen. So I have been doing that for months now, and I feel like I sleep better without that. It's really nice, especially when I'm like, if I'm having some anxiety before I go to sleep, I'm not tempted to grab my phone and Google my symptoms and like get myself all freaked out. So that has been very nice to not have that. Sometimes I like to listen to audiobooks to fall asleep, so I have been missing that a little bit, but I honestly just read my Kindle when I'm having trouble falling asleep. Actually, every night I read my Kindle and I fall asleep. But if I'm like struggling to like sleep, then I'll just read longer, you know? So it's not been that bad. Yeah, so that's pretty much my plan. And then eventually, my husband wants to get a landline, because he does not want to have a cell phone at all, not even a dumb phone. So we will be getting a landline, and then maybe at some point I will just not have the dumb phone anymore. I don't know. But I do think it's handy for emergencies, so I like the idea of still having a phone on me, just in case. So that is like, it's super exciting. This is all stuff that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and yeah, I'm excited to kind of share the journey with you guys, and we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, I just really like this idea. I really like this idea of kind of returning to like 90s or early aughts kind of lifestyle. Yeah, it's actually been super nice to be off social media, because, you know, I was still getting on Facebook and checking occasionally. Like, I would get on to like check Marketplace, but I would get so distracted with like reading people's posts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not supposed to be being on social media. You were like not gonna be on here anymore. So then after deactivating my account, I was like, oh, it's like, it's so nice, because I don't just accidentally go to Facebook because it's like linked there or whatever. It's just been very like a breath of fresh air, I guess, really. I think most people who get off social media feel that way, and yet a lot of us still end up going back to it because it's just so prevalent in society. And I don't want to fall prey to the thought, like I have before, where, well, I haven't been on it for a long time, so now I can like handle it, because it is specifically designed to suck you in. That's how it works. So maybe some people can like do that and like mind over matter it and like be able to stay off it and only check it occasionally and all of that. But it is a lot harder to do for most of us. So I think that just not having it is a lot easier, honestly. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of ways that it's going to affect my life too much. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be things that pop up, like, you know, like I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, but I'm like trying to learn Spanish and do lingo and everything. So can I do that on the computer? And, you know, things like that. Our church does a lot of stuff through an app, and I think I can use that app on my computer. So there's things like that that I will be figuring out over the next few weeks, just so I can continue to limit everything. And then obviously with my upcoming surgery, I'm like, oh no, is this the right time to really be doing this? And I'm like, honestly, it might be, because it's gonna be so easy for me to just fall back into being online and all of that when I'm sitting here healing. But I don't want to do that. I want to read more books, and yeah, like I'm sure I will watch a bunch of shows and probably YouTube videos, but I would like to not do that on my phone. I would like to do that on like a computer screen instead. I know it's still screens, but it feels different. So yeah, I will be doing all of this, and I'm excited to take you guys on this journey. Another thing that I really want long term is to figure out how to just kind of get away from subscription services for like movies and shows and everything. That's something that I'm kind of working on. We actually found a record player, which is awesome, but we need to get some vinyls so that we can actually listen to music on there. It is a radio as well, which is cool. So we can tune it to the radio and actually like listen to music that way. We have also found a ton of DVDs at thrift shops, because people don't watch DVDs very much anymore. So there's a lot of them out there. So that's something. We do actually have an Xbox, so we've been thinking about just kind of starting a DVD collection, and then, you know, we can watch movies that way. And then if we want to, we can like start up a subscription service to like watch a new show that we heard about or whatever. But then we can turn it off whenever we want, and we don't have to feel like we have to keep those. But yeah, so that's something that we're like, you know, experimenting with. We love the digital minimalism philosophy, and it's something that we would like to continue to kind of explore and figure out how much of it can really like help us simplify our lives. Minimalism in general is something that I have been playing with over the years, and it's something recently that we have been retrying to do, I guess. We are going through our house, and I'm not talking about like the beige everything minimalism, okay? no hate if that's what you like. I am not that way. I'm sure you can see behind me. There's like these things, there's a lot of them, but I use these things, you know? So it's like more maybe selective minimalism or something. I don't know. I feel like it can get a little like gimmicky. A lot of things can though, you know? But what I would like is just declutter. We go through the house and we declutter. And we're like, you know what? We haven't used this in 2 years or whatever. We definitely don't need it. I've gone through my clothes a few times, and I have had a hard time getting rid of stuff, even though I never use it, because I look at it and I'm like, but I like this style, and I'm like, yeah, but you never use it, you never wear it, because you don't feel comfortable in it, or it doesn't fit it, or whatever. I actually took those things and I put them in a box, and I'm like, you know what? I am keeping this for now, but I'm going to take it out of rotation because I haven't been wearing it. So if in 6 months, 3 months, or whatever, I open that box and I'm like, you know what? I don't need this anymore. And, you know, I didn't think about it once, so I'm getting rid of it. So that's kind of how I've been trying to do things, especially with the idea of surgery coming up. I really want the house to be a lot more, I don't know, just easier to take care of, because obviously I won't be able to do a whole lot. I'm going to be relying on other people very heavily. So that is something that is hard for me to do. Yeah, I'm usually the one taking care of other people. So it's hard for me to be the one being taken care of, and I'm going to have to like get over that. But yeah, so that's something, you know, I feel like just in all areas of our life, we've been chasing simplicity, and it's something that we're finally kind of getting a good grasp on, and it's very exciting. And yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I think this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. If you want to follow along this journey, or my other crazy random videos that I like to make, please subscribe, and yeah, give this video a like if you liked it, and I will see you guys next time. Stay lovely.